Hello again. I don't often buy potato salad, but when I do, I find it really not very pleasant, so I thought I'd share with you my recipe. It's very simple, but you do need to think ahead because you need the potatoes and the hard-boiled eggs to be cool enough to handle. So to make enough for 2 or 3 people, I've got 8 or so potatoes, different sizes. There's one that's a lot bigger than all the rest, so I'm going to just cut that one in half. And then I need to cover these with cold water. And this is where you could get a young friend to help. So they're covered with with cold water, and they will need a lid. And I'm going to cook some eggs as well, just a couple of eggs to hard boil. So again, cover them with cold water. And we go over to the cooker. So I'm going to turn both of these on. That's my potatoes. They've got to come to the boil, and then they've got to simmer for 15 to 20 minutes, and you'll know if they're cooked because at the point of a knife will go in easily. The eggs need to boil. We don't put a lid on those, but when they have come to a boil, we'll turn them down and they'll simmer for 10 minutes. So you'll have to set your timers and drain them when they're done. Now, when your hard-boiled eggs have had their 10 minutes, you need to take them over to the sink and tip off all the boiling water, and then fill them up with cold, and then use something like the handle of a knife to just crack the shells. And that lets the cold water under the shell so that the shell will actually peel off more easily, and then let them cool down really well. For the potatoes, I've already drained mine. I took them over to the sink and I tipped off all the water, and you've got to be able to handle them, so let them cool down a little bit before you use them. In the meantime, you can work on your spring onions. Now for 2 people, I've got 2 spring onions, and I need to take off the root, that little bit down there, and get rid of these nasty outside leaves. And I'm going to use the white bit of the onion in the mixture, and some of the green top is going to be just sprinkled on top to look pretty. So the root off, we'll take off some of that, and then I'm going to peel off those 2 outside layers. Get rid of that. And then I'm going to start at the green end because the white end will hold it all together as I go. So I'm going to just cut this into thin slices. Make sure you go all the way through, otherwise they don't break up. And this is going to be my garnish. And then these pieces will go actually in the bowl. There we are. Oh, I've lost one. Now, if you think this is too much, you don't have to use as much as this. You can just use 1 onion if they're particularly big ones. So tailor it to your own tastes, won't you? There we are. So that's that. Now, my potatoes, I'll push that to one side, are cool enough to handle, and I've now got to chop those into little bits, little cubes. So in half, then in quarters, and across into cubes. Sometimes the skin comes off and sticks to your knife. That's fine, don't worry about that. Right, last one. And you can see sometimes the skin comes off, and you can take it off if you want to. It's all extra fibre though, so it's very good for you. Right, that's my potatoes, so I'm going to put those into my pretty dish. And the next thing to deal with are the eggs. So they're nice and cold. We've got to peel off the skin, the shell, and then simply chop that as well. If you're not sure about whether you've got all the shell off, dip it back in the water, and that will just give it a little wash. Right, so all we do is cut that into chunks as well, and you can see that we haven't got a dark ring around the yolk because we dipped it into cold water. We made sure it's really nice and cold. You get this awful sulfur dioxide ring around the yolk if they cool slowly. And that's what creates the smell. That's what gives you that horrible hard-boiled egg smell. So there's our pieces of egg. Just roughly chopped. And into the bowl with potatoes. There we are. Now we've got to have some sort of a dressing on this. I'm just going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to use a mixture of salad cream and mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is lovely because it's just very pale and it creates that nice creamy dressing. And this is very much trial and error. You might find you need a bit more, so go easy to start with and then add a bit more when you've given it a stir. Spoon and a fork, go to the bottom and turn it over. This is one that children really like to have a go at because there's nothing more exciting than squirting a whole load of mayonnaise into a bowl and knowing that you're likely to have got just about the right amount. There we are. So I think that's probably about right actually. So onto the top of that, I might not use all of my green pieces, a little sprinkle of the green bits. Those are a bit stuck together. Then pepper. And I don't often advocate adding salt, but I'm going to just give this a sprinkle of salt on the top. I prefer people to add their own. And if you wanted to make it look even a bit more chefy, you could sprinkle a little bit of paprika on the top and that will just give it a rather nice colour. So here we are, potato salad, nicely decorated, and alongside a green salad which has got vinaigrette ready. So have a go, like, share, subscribe, encourage your young friends to help as well. And I hope this is useful for you during the hot summer months. Bye.